I'm Charlotte, and this is my presentation on what did the ancients ever do for us. So, what I mean by the ancients is the ancient world. This is usually the pre-classical period, so this is before the Greek and Roman empires. And this is BC, roughly around 5000 BC to 2000 BC. And the region I'm talking about is the ancient Near East. So really it's modern Middle East with North Africa. And Egypt and Babylonia are the best known civilizations that I'll be focusing on. So these are my top 5 in 5 minutes. So number 1, first cities and urbanization. So the first settlements were around 10,000 BC, but the first urban settlement was Ur. That's around 5,000 BC. And today we wouldn't have modern cities without it. Also quite interestingly, Aleppo up here, we've all heard about it in the news recently, the longest inhabited city in the world. First settlement 5000 BC, Cane City, and people have lived in it ever since. So a real shame if we lose that. Number 2, writing, scripts and alphabet. So proto-cuneiform and proto-hieroglyphics came around roughly the same time, 3000 BC. A lot of debate over which, but what matters is it was the beginning of writing. Early Sumerian cuneiform later became Akkadian, and Akkadian became the common tongue. So all these ancient societies I showed you had that language in common to commerce in. And later Phoenician, which is also in this region, which a lot of people know, Greek came from the Greek alphabet. The first alphabet, of course, was only 22 characters. And we wouldn't have Latin without Greek, so there we have it. A lot of people don't realise, though, that Phoenician also led to early Hebrew and Aramaic, which is today known as Arabic. So all our languages are really rooted in this part of the world. Law and order. So all of the laws today that we have are actually heavily entrenched in the Hammurabi codes. Hammurabi codes are from Babylon. It's a large stela, it's the largest continual text from the ancient period, and it has all the kind of things that we recognise today. The idea that you're innocent before proven guilty. The fact that you should have someone representing both sides, marriage law, disputes on land, litigation, business, I could go on. And also, interestingly, an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth, that comes in later biblical texts. It's not just Babylon that had early law. Egypt had the first police state, the idea that no one was above the law, and that everything should be investigated. And number 4, the concept of time. This is a really interesting one, because it's an abstract concept. The idea that the Babylonian numeric system of 12 and 60 is still used today on our clocks. The fact that the day was split down first by the Babylonians, and that they recognised 4 seasons in a year. They recognised 12 months in a year, 28 days in a month, and 7 days in a week. And also the 7th day is the holy day, so the day of rest. All very familiar things that we still have today. And the Egyptians invented the sundial, so we wouldn't have the concept of time without them. And number 5, my speciality, international trade and diplomacy. A lot of people think that globalisation is a recent phenomenon, but actually it was happening in this ancient world, as you can just about make out on that map. It was a very sophisticated trade network across land and sea. They became so interreliant on one another that their economies would eventually collapse when one went down. Very familiar. And so they created things like a silver standard to judge the price of things. They had exchange rates. They had international diplomacy. They created an ambassadorial system and interrelation marriages between royal families to create this system of harmony so that their trade systems could continue to cohabit. So, in conclusion, what did the ancients ever do for us? Well, quite a lot, and a lot more than I've mentioned, not to mention agriculture and mathematics and astronomy, and I could go on forever. But for me, these are the top 5 things. These are things that a lot of people assume are modern or Western inventions, and actually we have to thank the ancient Near East for it. Thank you.
Nice. Yeah. Cheers.